Hola, amigos, and welcome back to another episode of La Vida Verde podcast here at the Earth stage at Finca Vida Verde. It's a little bit gray today, but we have a ray of sunshine here in my guest, Daniella Caimi. She is a mother, a yogi, a psychologist, and a spiritual seeker raising her two kids here in the Machuca Valley. She has something she wants to share with you, and I have a feeling this is going to be a great conversation. We hope you enjoy. This episode of La Vida Verde podcast is sponsored by the Alegria Kajukembo Martial Arts Club, offering core training in Kajukembo with guest instructors in Kung Fu, Aikido, Capoeira, and more. Weekly classes Monday through Wednesday, open to all students in the Machuca Valley. Contact Sensei Nzinga for more information. +1 510 316 1424. Daniella Caimi.
Hello, my dear
Welcome to
friend.
La Vida Verde podcast.
Thank you so much for your invitation.
It's lovely to have you here. Danielle and I have actually been making some music together, just
Chilling.
on the cash.
Yes.
Yes. I was trying to think of how to start this, but just to say like how I met you. I first met you at Love Organics. You were with your family. You were on your way to a thing at the school. Your kids were going to Casa Sula or Real World or something,
Yes.
whatever, at that point, and there was like a parent-teacher thing, and you were buying treats for a potluck or something.
Yes.
That was how I first met you, and then I was just like, wow, who are these people? Like you and your pet are just beautiful people, and I was a little bit like intimidated. I was like, and you didn't know me, and of course, but I knew that you all were new because this is such a small community, as you know now. It's like
Yes.
when there's new people here. But and then I've seen you around. You were at the ecstatic dance, and I was talking to Peter at one point, who's people should know, he's your ex-husband.
Yes.
And he told me, and we haven't had him on the podcast yet, so you're first. But that you're very shy.
Yes.
And I was like, I just thought you were like because I'm very intimidated. You're very beautiful, and I think
Thank you.
it's intimidating, so anyways, I'm happy I came to talk to you. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
What it looks is not the reality. I am very shy, introverted, but when I feel comfortable, I am super naughty, laugh. I want to jump. I want to dance. I want to talk.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful to be here and sharing this space with you. I really appreciate it. I honor you.
Thank
Really.
you. Thank you so much. Well, let's talk a little bit about your past. So,
Yes.
you are from Chile.
I am from Chile. I arrived here 5 years ago.
Mhm.
I am the only woman in three brothers. And I was born in Viña del Mar, a very traditional family, Catholic, with a lot of abundance surround, and
Abundance.
abundance in money, opportunities, material wealth.
Your father was a businessman.
Yeah, he was a chemical engineer,
Chemical
very
engineer.
successful. He
Okay.
had his own company with his brother.
Okay.
And we were very lucky in that aspect, but also was very tricky,
Mhm.
because people relate money that you accomplish all your goals and you're happy and money gives you the happiness. And for me, it was totally opposite. I was feeling a lot of emptiness because emotionally, the situation in my family was not so easy. And
No.
and yes, so growing up in this kind of a lifestyle was challenging,
Mhm.
Also, being the little sister, very overprotected, and
Mm.
actually, I never felt very adept at school. I never really liked that. I felt that it's very imposed, brainwash programming, and I was very curious, and I love arts, music, singing, sports, and I always dedicate to that. But I never felt really aligned to that system at all.
So it sounds like you've been questioning,
Yes.
or from a very early age,
Yes.
the system itself. And you're the youngest.
I am the youngest.
And you grew up with a lot of financial abundance, but
Yes.
spiritual lack.
Yes. And I was growing up in this kind of system that I felt trapped and lonely, but I was growing up and I realized that I was feeling always as a warrior, I want to know more. I want to discover myself. I want to break this system. I studied psychologist looking for answers about myself, my life. But when I felt like this is not enough. This is not who I am. And I need to discover who I am. So I studied psychologist. I started after master and I stopped it and I started to travel to India, discovering myself, doing Ashtanga yoga, meeting beautiful people, trying different drugs, exploring myself, opening to life, and it was great journey. I am very grateful of my life, even with the highs and lows. Yes.
Wow. That's a great synopsis. I mean,
Yes.
That's about what you've told me in the past. It's like, this is your story. And then somehow at some point you were in Thailand and you met Peter.
I met Peter, yes, when I was in Thailand in a vegan restaurant. I was practicing so hard Ashtanga yoga. That was my biggest lesson to take care of myself. So
Ashtanga yoga is like intense yoga.
And I am intense too.
Yeah.
So that combination was not very good match. But I learned the lesson.
Yeah.
And I injured myself deeply. So I went to Thailand for visa to go back to India to heal myself. And in that space, I met Peter in a vegan restaurant in a little street, like all magical. Since we met, was everything great and intense and magical. And yeah, we went through a long journey together. And now we have 2 kids. So they are our miracles, and it's super challenging to raise kids in these times of the world. We are exposed to so many illusions about how life is supposed to be. And I don't want to be normal at all.
Okay.
I prefer to be seen as crazy, weird, but I want to be authentic and I want to create my own life, my own reality. And trying to embody myself the most as who I am, that I am unconditional love. And people sometimes get stuck in the outside, the looks, but I'm much more beyond that. I did long path of self-discovery.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I recognize that pretty quickly. I was like, you're eloquent, and like there's a depth, of course, that I've as I've gotten to know you. It's like there's sometimes with certain people, there's an unspoken, you don't need to say so much. Like there's not as much I don't know how to really, it's just, I guess something I recognize in certain people that I see in you. So yeah, it's clear to me. And a comfortability that like it doesn't feel like, I always feel kind of comfortable in your presence. It's like,
and I am not now anymore. Now I am 43 years old, and I don't want to have many friends. I want to have a few of them, but authentic, and just to be in the presence of the person, not to gossip or to try to find connection. When you're present and aligned in the present moment, in your heart, you connect with souls.
Yeah.
So that's what I want, and this is the journey.
Well, you welcome. I think we're all here. A lot of us are here kind of seeking a deeper connections in our relationships. I mean, there's neighborhoods where people don't even know each other, and here, like, I'm so blessed and I feel so fortunate to get to talk to so many people like you and get to know them on a much deeper level, because there's an openness. People are very open here, and I really love that. So you had your kids in Thailand?
Well, Soham was manufactured in Spain.
Manufactured.
And he was
conceived. Is that the word you're looking for?
Was created, planned. Everything was made of in Formentera.
Okay.
We were in Spain, and after he was born in Chile, and Anandi too. Also, she was born in Chile.
Okay, so both your children were born in Chile.
Yes, both they were born in Chile. But I noticed that I was pregnant when I was living in Italy.
Ah.
In Rome, I was living 1 year with Peter there, but I realized that I miss my family and I need support and connection with my own family. So we decided to move to Chile, and was a big journey to be there, because I love my country. I love where I was born and grow up, but the mentality of Chile is not for me at all. It's in this survival mode. Everybody's working to survive and feeling depressed, and I figure out that much more when I was traveling different countries. I went to Peru, and people so slow and calm and super present, and just I arrived to Chile like "Brr," like bitter, and we realized we don't want to live this life. So I mean, we are very travelers and seekers with Peter, and that is our main point of connection, to discover ourselves.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You've lived in Thailand, in Bali,
Malaysia,
in Italy. Now you said
Italy,
Spain.
we travel Europe, we travel a lot, and I'm so grateful because it's a great experience to grow and for the kids to understand that life and traditions and cultures and the smells and food and vibrations are different in different places, and you are not forced to live in the place that you're born. You have the choice to be in the place that you resonate to.
Well, some of us, I mean, yeah, I know we do have that choice. I think not everybody feels like they have that choice just because of, I mean, various different realities. But I've met Costa Ricans who have never left Costa Rica, and that makes me sad, I think, actually, that like there's people who, there's some countries where the visa isn't strong enough or the whatever that they don't feel like they can travel. I mean, I think some of it is also just a belief system
Yes.
because if you want to go anywhere, you can go there, really. I mean, this earth is not, there's borders, but where there's a will, there's a way,
I feel super grateful because in this lifetime, the big effort and investment of life of my dad that he worked so hard, he gave me the possibility that I feel so lucky and grateful that I had the opportunity to travel and to find myself, and I break this roulette of surviving and working just to be normal and to be part of a system. So I feel so
blessed.
because it's not everybody had that chance to explore themselves, who I am, why. So after school I need to study psychologist or university, and I need to have all the answers about myself, and I was barely in diapers. I didn't know who I was until now. I'm still discovering myself.
And so your kids were okay. Yes,
Yes.
Thanks,
okay.
Dad.
Thank you, Papa.
So you've had all this opportunity to learn and to travel, and I
Yes.
appreciate that you didn't waste that opportunity. I mean, there's so many people who have access to capital and they use it on silly, frivolous things, and you chose very
Yes.
intentionally to
Yes.
go and learn and use that opportunity to learn and gain knowledge
Yes.
from wise teachers. It sounds
Yes.
like.
Yes.
And so I'm curious. Okay, so now you've come back to Costa Rica. Your kids were how old when you moved here?
Well, Soham is 5 years ago. So Soham was 4, I think, and Anandi was 1.
Okay.
Something like this, 1.5. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
very little.
Okay. And since then you and Peter have separated, and
Yes.
now you're co-parenting
Yes, we're co-parenting, and it's challenging. It's not easy. We separated officially last year, and yes, it's very complicated to co-parenting. I feel like especially after the COVID pandemic, reality shift and change, and there is a lot of distortions about reality. Something that I'm so grateful about Peter, that he's my biggest teacher too. That he introduced me into understand that what it looks or it seems is not about reality, about where we grow up, about the economic system, who leads the world, what we see. I mean, it was upside down. For me, it was super shocking. But now I'm so grateful because my perspective of reality changed, and I see the big weapon that we are exposing our kids about technology.
Mm.
There's nothing good about that.
Mm.
We're planting seed of distortions and entities in the brain of our kids, and they're so little and they don't see it because they're connecting to the angelic world. They are just pure light. And once that they are in this, they lost themselves. They cannot self-regulate. And this is not that not every kid is the same. But my kids are super sensitive and they are exposed, and I see them. This is a big weapon.
Yeah, so this is, I think you actually, I was surprised because I was like already like, I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna invite Daniela on the podcast once it's time. But you actually reached out to me. You're like, I got something I want to share. Let's talk
Yes,
about this. So I'm
yes,
this is the topic, right? So it
yes.
had to
This
do
is
with
this is the topic because I am super grateful about all the schools that my kids went through all these years, but I see big differences between public schools and private schools.
uh-huh.
And I feel this is my perception, my humble perception. I don't want to convince anybody. I just want to be honest and authentic in my own truth, my voice.
Mhm.
But being surrounded by money and technology and give kids all this access to tablet technology is a big mistake.
Mm.
There is a reality beyond what we see, that is the astral world, energy world, and they go directly to the minds of little kids. This energy and this energy parasite, go through the technology. So when the kids consume this technology, they get trapped in this frequency reality that is a very low frequency,
Mm.
and they get trapped and they cannot control themselves. Even what it looks super harmless is not like that. And actually, I did a very deep exercise, and I invite everybody to do that, to use technology in a very proper way. I went to ChatGPT and I put all the programs that my kids watch, and I asked ChatGPT, please analyze spiritually, emotionally, psychologically all these TV shows they exposed. And they were all seeds of emptiness, superficial bonds, looking for validation of external money, emptiness. No compassion, no empathy. And this is not the world I want to build for my kids.
How do you I guess my question comes up for me is like I was also raised on all this kind of TV shows. Like I don't think anything I mean, I don't know, maybe there was some I think if I look back on it, like shows that I naturally gravitated towards had some kind of message. There was a message. They were trying to teach, some kind of principles. I mean, in the 80s, I feel like a lot of shows were that. Like even the cartoons would have the little thing afterwards, like if you're, they would try and sum up the lesson with like a PS, public service announcement, like, hey, if you're not feeling safe in your home, call this number or whatever. They would always, in the 80s, I feel like there was at least some attempt to do that. Do you not think that there's any kind of like good messaging going on through these things?
And that is a big question. That is the mixed information. They're trying to manipulate kids. They send good signals, but also twisted ones. So for the kids, it's much more complicated to understand what is good and what is wrong. It's mixed signals.
Mm.
Like if you start to take a moment to see with your kids what they're watching, like you can see they're doing even black magic, spells, talking in these words. Words are very, very powerful, and they get imprinted in their subconscious mind. It's programming. And I want to program my kid with loving messages and self-love and compassion. And all these programs doesn't have all that messages.
I'm just curious, is there like a specific show or something that you're like thinking of that like when you're like this one
I don't
is
know. There is a lot of YouTubers that I feel like they're gymnastic needle and Nadal or something like that. They look super cool. They do sports and looks
oh
everything
man.
super nice. But in the background, they're super superficial. When you have money, you can be super happy, like super empty values that I don't want my kids
Oh yeah.
uh,
Well, I think this is
incorporate
and I
that.
think this is a big difference is also like YouTube, for instance. I mean, I've watched. I'm really into like true crime and these kinds of documentaries because I love forensics, and my mom instilled in me this love of like detective work and forensics and like history. I use them as cautionary tales. Like, so for instance, I just watched this one on Disney Plus the other day about a YouTube mother who was a family blogger. Like, she was posting about her. It was the Mormon Church was pushing people into promoting their lifestyle by encouraging them to video blog about their family and to encourage more people to come into the church. And as it turned out, like, yeah, they were made by the end of, but they started off really small, but by the middle of it, they were making so much money that it twisted the entire thing, that the money actually twisted it. And then by the end of it, the mother was like arrested, is spending 30 years in prison for like tying up her children, abusing. So the stuff I've seen as I look at some of the YouTube like true story things, some of the stuff that goes on is very dark in the background. Some of the parents that are especially the parents that are leading their kids, but it's also like kids leading kids. Kids don't really know that much. I mean, they're still learning themselves. So it's interesting because YouTube is a different phenomenon. It's kind of
You know,
it didn't
like
exist when we were kids.
my daughter, and I love to sing with them, with the ukulele. I'm singing, and I was super catchy with one song, and I start to realize, okay, who is this girl? And I start to see her history. Horrible. Like her mom abused her, very sexual content in the way they expose themselves, having boyfriends when they're super little. All these are so normalized, and for me, it's super
Yeah.
twisted. I want my kids to be kids and enjoy nature, and I don't want these Roblox or games that create these dopamine levels in their heads. They become aggressive, irritated, they lose interest into study, in connect with themselves, because what this create is this connection from themselves and from the family members. I want them to be exposed to nature, to play games, to get bored, to discover life in a natural life. And we're missing that.
Do you think that there can be a balance, or do you think it's like it's best just to avoid it completely?
I feel like also depend of every kid. I don't want to put all the kids in the same, but I feel like if the kid is not ready mature to understand the effect of what can cause, is a big weapon. And I'm struggling in this moment. And I
Yeah.
love my son with everything in my heart. And we have constantly talks, and sometimes we get agitated, but he have difficulty to understand because he's so immersed in this. And me as a guide, as a protector of my kids, I will do everything to keep them as much as pure as possible, to talk about truth, about life, about the reality that my parents never teach me. I am grateful about everything that my parents did, but we are living a spiritual world now.
That's I was gonna say that's the word that comes to mind. Is it? I sense your warrior mother.
Exactly.
You know, I guess, yeah. It's interesting because there's a couple things that come up for me in this. One is it gonna be effective? For instance, like like, so if you ban him from it, say like you say, okay, no more. Is it actually going to create the outcome that you want, or like I feel like all we can really do is encourage our kids to make good choices, because at the end of the day, they're going to make their own choices. There's so much time that they spend away from you in a day that you might be able to control them a little bit when they're in your presence, but when they're out of your presence.
Yeah, but for me, the point of the conversation is not only about the kids, it's about the responsibility of the parents to take action and awareness, consciousness about what they are doing consciously,
Yeah.
what they're feeding in the mind, body, and soul of their own kids. This is.
Yeah.
And
Right.
if you have that consciousness and you realize what he's looking, what this have effect in their brain and in their mind, and they're not losing interest in doing normal, natural things as kids. Because honestly, I don't care about normal at all. I don't want to be part of the norm. I want to break that. I want to be rebellious, and I don't care if others like or not. I want to be who I am.
So you're encouraging parents to pay attention to their
pay
kids
attention.
and pay attention to what they're watching.
Exactly.
Do some research, find out what they're watching, making sure it's healthy.
And be present. I know that, and I'm not giving classes of how to be a parent because I made a lot of mistakes myself. But I know that it's so challenging now in the days that we live to be present with our kids, because kids are not like before, 20 years in the 80s. I was super calm and chill girl. But now kids are warriors and they question everything and they don't accept. But also depends how we treat them, how we navigate to them, with them, and to love them a lot. And sometimes to love them is to put boundaries, the right boundaries.
Yeah. Well, and this is a good time to, I mean, our sponsor for this week's episode is the Alegria Kajukembo Club, which is actually, I think, a good, I found it really interesting that Nzinga approached me about, she's like, I need more students. I want to get more students enrolled. I feel like that is one of those solutions. It's like get kids into doing physical things so they can express themselves.
Singing, playing instrument, art, theater, going for hiking, plants, connecting with nature, because that is the best energy healer, grounding to reconnect and release all the negative electromagnetic field from the technology too.
Right. And also, well, and also martial arts in a way, because it also teaches how to like use your energy in a more conscious and appropriate way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, this has just kind of flown by. This has actually been a very it's been a great conversation. I wonder if there's anything more that you feel like you want to share before we wrap it up.
I would like this message is received with all my love and good intention. I'm not leading to anybody to point that they're wrong or right. It's just like be conscious and mindful that we're going through a spiritual war, and our kids we need to protect, and we need to plant the right seeds in their hearts and in their minds and in their body to be good kids connected with their hearts, compassion, empathy, humble kids. I want that for my kids, and I want for everybody to be loving and connecting with their passions and their true purpose.
Yeah.
That is my message.
Okay. And may we all be good examples of that for our children and all children. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, Daniella Caimi.
Thank you, my love. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for making the time to come here. This is La Vida Verde podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Human. We release episodes semi-regularly now. We're trying to get them at least every other week. We have to cover our production costs. So if you want to go check out patreon.com/La Vida Verde podcast, it'll help us out a lot. I want to say thank you so much to our sponsors this week, the Alegria Kajukembo Martial Arts Club and Sensei Nzinga. Thank you so much. Thank you to Ecoteas Yerba Mate for keeping me charged. We have a new website at fincavitaverde.com. Go check it out. We are on Instagram at Finca Vida Verde CR. We're on YouTube, Finca Vida Verde. You can find us on YouTube, where you can watch this episode and see me and Daniella live at La Vida Verde podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back very soon with another episode. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniella.
Thank you.